guys, Miss Mosier here. In the last video, I showed you imaginary numbers part 2, and we were able to figure out what I was, I squared, I cubed, and I to the 4th. And I told you in this video, I would teach you how to find numbers like I to the 376 power. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's call this imaginary numbers part 3. Imaginary numbers oh no, I forgot I was writing all caps. There we go. Part 3. All right, so let's go ahead and rewrite what we know. I is equal to the square root of -1. I squared is equal to -1. I cubed was equal to -I, and I to the 4th was equal to +1. So if we continue going, I to the 5th would be equal to the square root of -1, or just I to the 6th would be equal to -1, I to the 7th would be equal to -I, and I to the 8th would be equal to 1. I to the 9th, sorry, can you see? I to the 9th would be equal to I to the 10th would be equal to -1. I to the 11th would be equal to -I, and I to the 12th would be equal to 1. Do you see a pattern? Yes, hopefully. Okay, let's keep going. I to the 13th would be equal to I to the 14th would be equal to -1. I to the 15th power would be equal to -I, and I to the 16th power is equal to 1. If the power is a multiple of 4, your answer will be 1. Okay? If it goes in a multiple of 4 times and has a remainder of 1, your answer would be equal to I. If there is a remainder of 2, it would be equal to -1. If there is a remainder of 3, it would be equal to -I. So let's try I to the power of 64. Is 64 a multiple of 4? 4 times 16 is 64. So you could even write this as like I to the 4th times I to the 4th times I to the 4th power, right? 4 times 4, or wait, no. Because when we multiply, we add exponents. So it'd be 4 plus 4. I'm gonna have to write this out a lot, okay? But, all right, so 8, 12, 16, 20, and we just keep going, okay? I should have written it as I to the 64th equals I to the 4th, all to the power of 16. There we go. That's much better than writing it out in expanded form like this. So I to the 4th power, remember, is 1. So we could write this as 1 to the power of 16. Well, 1 to any power, 1 times itself however many times, is still just going to be 1. Right? So if it's a multiple of 4, your answer will be 1. Because 4 times 16 is 64, your answer is 1. Okay? All right, let's try another one. I to the 25th power. Okay? All right, how many times does 4 go into 25? 4 goes into 25. 4 times 6 is 24. You subtract. 25 minus 24 is 1. So we have a remainder of 1. So if we have a remainder of 1, then it's just I. So I to the 25th would be equal to I. Let's try another one. Let's do I to the 26th. How many times does 4 go into 26? Well, it would go in 6 times, okay, with a remainder of 2 this time. If there's a remainder of 2, it's going to be equal to I squared, which is -1. Okay. All right, let's try 376 now. All right, let's go over here, do our division. How many times does 4 go into 376? 4 times 8 is 32. 4 times 9 is 36. So we write that underneath 37. We subtract. 37 minus 36 is 1. We bring the 6 down. How many times does 4 go into 16? 4. And 4 times 4 is 16. You subtract. The remainder is 0. So that means 376 is a multiple of 4, which means our answer is just 1. Okay, so what we want to do, if you have I to a high power, a power that is a pretty big number, you want to divide that power by 4 and see what your remainder is. If your remainder is 1, it's going to be equal to I. If your remainder is 2, it's going to be equal to -1. If your remainder is 3, it's going to be equal to -I. And if your remainder is 4, your answer will be 1. Okay, so that's how we can simplify imaginary numbers that are to a really high power.